Hello, everyone. I know a few moments from now, people are going to be joining me live. Um, Welcome to the Man of Thought, aka the Villain of Truth, aka the Black Panther of Nigeria. So, oh, thanks, Rusty. It skipped my mind. It skipped my mind. I was supposed to send you a message. How are we doing today? You can see that there's a difference in the settings of today's YouTube live stream. Yeah, I hope today was kind of great. Well, I am awaiting some of our audience to kind of join live and for us to be able to have a conversation for today. And we really want to talk about a few subjects. I wouldn't be staying so much on live today, but I just want to pass a little bit of message. In fact, my intention is I'm going to make a video on this particular subject. And the topic is on the screen at the moment, and it's talking about secret behind Nigerian men's confidence. I want to see if there are a few others that will be joining me live. And please, maybe before they join us live, I am thinking of you said I am creator. I think he has subscribed. I was trying to look for his name earlier today so I can also add him up, but it's kind of skipped my mind. When I tried it the other time, the network was kind of fluctuating. Eye of creator, yes. Eye of creator. Okay, I think you even sent it to me on WhatsApp. Yeah. So today I will see if he is available. One moment. All right. For those who are joining, welcome to the Man of Thought. I'll be waiting for those who are going to be joining me live. Okay. Yeah. Hoping he probably will join us live soon. And I'm yet to understand. I'm still practicing a little bit on this particular StreamYard. And I think StreamYard is a little bit better off than some other applications that I've been using. Even I think it's kind of better than using the YouTube itself, because it's a little bit flexible, whereby I can add up one or two few things. I can have guests join me live. I can do all kinds of stuff with it. So it's a great one. Well, I had few intentions in mind today, and one of it is to talk about the secret behind Nigerian men's confidence. I don't know if I should give out a few minutes or I just have to go into the conversation. And then those who are going to join us are going to join us live later as we proceed. Well, maybe we'll go ahead and those who want to join us when they come around, I probably will just rephrase a little bit of what we have, and then they can come back and watch the program and see what we've been talking about. Well, today's conversation is about secret behind Nigerians men's confidence. And I decided to talk about it basically because I've been seeing a trending subject. In fact, um, this week, that was before Saturday till now, I've been able to see four channels that were saying great things about Nigerian men. Not specifically talking about African men, but Nigerian men. They've been focusing most, mostly on talking about Nigerian men, and they say this, they say that. Nigerian men are great, Nigerian men are this, Nigerian men are that. And for me, when I hear things like that, I just like to debunk the real fact behind it. Because sometimes when you do not understand the secret behind certain people, you begin to idolize them and think that they are kind of special. And in life, there is no one that is truly special. Everyone is given almost the same grace. It is basically because we humans, we kind of demonize the things that are being given to us as people. And when we don't have value for those things, then we begin to see repercussions of the things that we don't really take good care of. So that's the reason why I'll be touching on the subject today. Now, I believe that in the past, I have spoken about similar subjects on this why South African women were praising Nigerian men and saying Nigerian men were this. And I've seen a couple of Black American people talk about how interesting it is to date a Nigerian man and make it feels like, oh, we're a little bit special. And most of these things happen basically because of few reasons. And that's what I would debunk. And the secrets why most Nigerian men are being praised by other people. Okay. Let me take this out. So let us start with today's conversation. Regardless, people might join us later. Now, I was trying to write something and I never realized that the time is already up for me to come live. So when I saw that I was 1 minute late, that was when I joined. So part of the things I will discuss on, let me load these things, but I can hear a little bit of sound. Please, is the background the music at the background, is it too loud? If the music in the background is not too loud, should I leave it or I just reduce it? I think I've reduced it a little bit. I think it's kind of fine this way. Yeah. Yes. Let me do that. I think it's fine now. So there are a lot of things people say about African or Nigerian men specifically. Everyone knows when you talk about Nigeria, it's all about Nigeria is the giant of Africa. And in that mind, people kind of accept Nigerians for a lot of things. Now, regardless of anything you say about Nigeria, one of the negative things people say about Nigeria are basically two. One of it tends to be that Nigerians, a lot of them are fraudsters, which is Yahoo boys. And the second one is that we have an issue with leadership in the country. And that has contributes to the factor. And I would say that's the image you naturally would see when it comes to the idea of talking about Nigerians. And that's the reason why I want to debunk this particular idea when people say Nigerian men are this or Nigerian men are that. We have to resolve the idea because if you understand the secrets behind certain people's success, it is kind of easy to replicate some of those success. And that's exactly what we'll be doing today. First of all, I would like to say this. The origin of the secret of Nigerian, where the success of most Nigerians came from, has to do with the traditions and the culture of Nigerians. And a lot of people would say, is there something genetic about Nigerians? Is there something they have that is kind of special? I believe if you go into the UFC, when it comes to the world of MMA, mixed martial arts, UFC, or it comes to boxing, or it comes to football, Nigerians are doing a little bit good on all these things. Unfortunately, the last fight our brother had, AJ, he was being knocked out. So that's one thing. That's just a surprise. No one saw it coming, but it happened. Nigerians' issues with leadership, LOL, Nigeria don't like laws, so leadership is going to be hard. Yeah. Nigerians, we so much don't like excessive laws. It's part of our success and it's part of our weakness as people. In every choice that we make in life, there's always good and there's always bad. Both of them always find a role to play in it. And it is not because Nigerians do not like leadership or Nigerians don't like laws. It is basically the idea that the law shouldn't be excessive and it should be humans are humans, first of all. Humans are always going to be humans. And when there are excessive laws in a lot of country, too many people would not be able to flourish in that country. And what I mean by a lot of people would not be able to flourish, you have to become part of certain group to be able to succeed in that particular field. Then let us take the US for example. Let's look into the US for example. The law has to work for the people, not against them. Absolutely, absolutely. When you look at the US right now, one of the things laws are doing is that there is a lot of separation between the people. And when I use the word separation among the people, is that the foundation of every nation depends on family. And the laws of the nation is beginning to affect the family. And when it begins to affect the family would not be able to flourish or progress. And once family has been destabilized, it is a matter of time the nation is going to crumble. And one of it tends to be that when government begins to interfere into the relationship between a man and a woman, not just giving laws for the citizens, but participating in the life of every other person, nobody wants to be in a place whereby there are so much laws that is there. In fact, there was a recent law I was paying attention to, like if you sleep with a woman and she asks you to wear condom and you did not put on condom, you most likely will go to jail for it. Whatever you do in the US, you most likely can go to jail for anything. And that begins to infringe on the right of the people to be humans, for them to be able to experience their humanity. Rather, they are living under fear. In fact, you don't know what you're going to do or what you're not supposed to do before you find yourself in jail. An excessive law is not good for the people. In fact, when Moses was giving his people laws, he gave them 10 commandments. Now, how many laws do we have at this moment? We have countless. Now, some people would say it's basically because of we have more population, we have more states, we have all those kind of things, like we have of the military and the rest of it. But people know how they could move together in the past. And I think that the same thing is applicable. Certain individuals know how to move together even till date. And so we can see that one of the country that has oh, thank you, Rusty. Seven is just joining us. Thanks for joining. It's not only two of you. There's someone else. Uh, hmm. So Rusty says, in my country, they let out murderer and other sort of high level stuff to make space for the people who rioted. Sorry, I had to ban Seven. I had to ban him because he was actually here for trouble. So I will talk about part of the things that are helping Nigerians, because one of the great things people say when it comes to the idea of Nigerians is they talk about the confidence of Nigerians. But when you said in my country they let out murderer and other sort of high level stuff to make space for the people who rioted, wow. And maybe there was not enough prison. You can bring him back if you want. It's not a problem to me. I know. No. Sometimes he kind of asks some questions that doesn't make sense, and I still don't mind those questions because I understand every humans have their own challenge. Yeah. Wait, it's well, let's just proceed and forget the idea of seven. So, what are their reasons for such things? I think there might be great reasons for it. I don't know, but I don't know what reason would be that good for you to take out to release murderers and the rest of it, just because of few things. But let's just focus actually on the things that people see, because I'm about to upload a video on this particular topic, but at the same time I was like, okay, let me live stream on it before I publish it out. And one of the things that people see when it comes to Nigerian men, I realize that a lot of people who talk about Nigerian men are the women within other countries and other cultures. And with that, I could remember yesterday I was even watching some videos where women begin to intimidate their men with the kind of conversation saying that say you okay, when you still come and you write something different, you still get blocked. It just take a few seconds to block him. So it will take him at least 30 seconds to set up another account. So, like I was saying, yesterday I was going through a particular video and I realized that some women are intimidating their men in their nation of because with Nigerian men and telling them that Nigerian men are better off than this kind of people or that their nation kind of people, and it tends to be in the black culture. And the lady was saying, I only date Nigerian men. I don't date people in the Western or something like that. And because Nigerian men take care of their women, Nigerian men does this, Nigerian men does that. And it's kind of make me realize a lot of people say these things without understanding the profound nature of Nigerian men and the profound nature of every other man, because all men are the same. All men are competent and capable of doing things. It is the system that determines if you're going to be a strong man or you're going to be a weak man. And how does the society, how do humans participate in the idea of how they bring up their men? And these are part of the things I would touch. I wouldn't stay too long on today's episode. But first thing I would like to touch on is that there are things that are deeply rooted in the Nigerian heritage or culture that even some African countries does not even have. And one of it tends to be with a strong sense of identity. A strong sense of identity. Now, what does it mean to have a strong sense of identity? I think for an average Nigerian man, we already know what it is to be in a man. There are white people who hate all other white people and only like black people. What do we call those people? We don't call them racist. What do we call them? They are a new generation. Wow. So, in the Nigerian culture, one of the things we have today is what we call sense of strong identity. Wow. That's basically because, according to what you wrote when you said teenagers screaming that all white people are bad, that's basically because um, they keep clamoring on the idea that the white people have to apologize to the black people for what they've done. They are usually part of the rainbow alphabet soup society. Absolutely. Because and I see a reasons to it. The reason is basically because apart from those alphabetical rainbow people, now they've mixed more with the black people. And for them to have mixed up with the black people, it has given them a sense of building a strong relationship, fighting for the same cause. And the cause is that we want to be accepted by the society. In fact, we want to be in the institution. And so they have to connive or unite with the blacks so they can achieve a goal, such goal. Because imagine if there's division between the white rainbow people and the black rainbow colors and the alphabetical society, now it simply means it will be difficult for them to be able to achieve their goals, which they are actually succeeding in today's world. But like I was saying earlier, one of the good things about Nigeria is that we have what we call a strong sense of identity. A strong sense of identity. And in the African or Nigerian culture, A 5-year-old child understand what it is to be a male. Hello, hi of creators. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Yeah. So Nigerians have what we call strong sense of identity. And like I was saying, I said an average 5-year-old child in Nigeria knows exactly what it is to be a man and what it is to be a woman. There is no confusion. Ah, yeah, it's something that is actually possible. So it's a great one. I actually enjoy this application better than the YouTube one, but fine. So a 5-year-old African child or Nigerian child specifically understands what it is to be a man and what it is to be a woman. What it is to be a man and what it is to be a woman. And the reason is basically because both of them understand their capabilities, their competency, what they are capable of doing and what they are not capable of doing. And they do not compete among themselves. It says creator, religion, and politics is okay here, but trying to keep them on topic is where we need to be with that. Okay. So, hi of creators. I think I'll be chatting you up, or probably I would make some settings after um I'm done for today's conversation, and I wouldn't be staying too long. So, because in Nigeria we understand our role in life, we do not bother each other trying to compete with two genders, but each gender make decisions to compete among themselves. Else mode wise is standard, but try not to hide anyone unless they do the really bad. Okay, yeah. So we are going to set up some things the moment we are done. Yeah, today is actually Wednesday, and I understand one thing about the algorithm. People are not much on live when it's Wednesdays. People are mostly live on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. We have more audience by that time. So, like I was saying, there is no struggle between our identity as people, and that's what gives us those liberation. That's exactly what gives us those liberation. And because the men are not competing with the women, we are not confused with who we are. And you can see there's a statement they used to have in the Western culture, that's in the military of the US. There was a time they said the military of the US, they were 10 times strong or 5 times strong or something like that. And when they begin to bring in some of the ladies, they heard that the military are becoming weaker. I think it happens also in the Navy SEAL that they started reducing the kind of training they give to both genders. And so maybe men have to do this and women have to do this. And all this confusion are coming basically because the idea of what a man can do, a woman can do better, it is a struggle a lot of people have in their country. And when you try to equalize both gender, forgetting the fact that they are both capable of doing different things, and you keep separating them, at the end of the day, one would have to succumb to the other. Yeah. So the idea is this, that in Nigeria, we actually have what we call sense of identity. Then the second thing we have, and when we say sense of identity, what we mean is we are men. And what does it mean to be a man? A man thinks of being a provider, a man thinks of being a protector, a man thinks of being useful in the society. And at the end of the day, men believe in the idea of serving their people. This is the identity that an average Nigerian child actually have. And so the names we give to the men and the names we give to the women are absolutely different. And each name represents strength for the man, and each name for a woman represents beauty. Like in the name, when it comes to the Yoruba, we have all kinds of name. And as a man, they might call you a king. They might call you a strength. There are all kinds of name in that we have culturally that indicate you as a man. And those names simply means you stand for something that actually has to do with strength. Like in the Yoruba culture, the man are called Akin, and Akin simply means a brave man. But you can never hear them call a lady Akin or something like that. They might call a lady a name that is feminine. They might call a lady a name that is of beauty. So those are the difference. And so the man already understands his identity as a person, that this is what I need to represent. And because of that, we grow up knowing we are not confused. Ever since every child is a Nigerian child, we are not kind of confused about who we need to be. We are not confused about who we need to be. We already know who we are as a child. And so when you grow up till you are 50 or you are 60, the same identity that you have since when you are a child of what it is to be a man, that is the same thing you have in your head. You are not confused. You only grow in responsibility. You are not being worried about your identity because you know what you represent in the culture. So the second thing Nigerians we have also is the idea of we have what we call pride in our heritage. We have what we call pride in our heritage. And so sometimes this is the reason why I am a little bit amazed when I see certain individuals who say bad things about Nigeria. It's kind of like they are strange to me. When you look at the negative things of the things that are going on in the country, to me, and you are from Nigeria, it is kind of strange to me. I'm not used to it. And a lot of Nigerians, we are not used to it. In fact, most of those people who say stuff like that, you can come to an average Nigerian person and you say such a thing. Not because they are going to fight you, except you are not, they don't see you as a Nigerian. But if they see you as a Nigerian, you can't say such a thing because the whole world is going to tear you down with the words of their mouth. Because we are proud of Nigerian regardless of the difficulties of the country. Rusty is giving out some names. You have been watching a lot of Nollywood movies. You've been watching a lot of Nollywood movies. Yeah. Now, The name that is given to a man, to a male child, and the name that is being called by the wife or by his lover are two different things. They are two different things. The wife or the spouse idolizes the man, but in the family where the man comes from, he is given a name to be courageous. He is given a name to be a man. And so the woman idolizes him in their relationship. So most of this name, like you call them, the darling, the babe, love, tickle, or sweetie, sugar. Yes, all these names are the names most of our women call the men. But these names are just to idolize the man. And this is the reason why it is rare in the African or Nigerian relationship for you to see where people have issues. And I'm not saying we don't have challenges in the relationship. It is that we find a common ground because we already understand our roles and we know most of the things that actually cause conflict in the Nigerian relationship are things like when you try to cross certain boundaries, and those boundaries are kind of clear. Their older generation call a female loved one. They are older, and maybe I did not get this message clearly. It says the older generations call a female loved ones. Yeah, loved. We call them a name that tends to be soft, a name that tends to be filled just with beauty. Yeah. So there's a pride, there's a sense of identity, there's a pride in our heritage, and I think there's a community values and resilience and self-assuredness. But I think most other nations have some of these things. The problem, the problem of a lot of people is like when you miss these key factors in relationship, you would not be able to fix other things. Because one of the things that it say about African relationship, Nigerians specifically, because Nigerians are the ones that are being idolized in Africa at the moment. We talk about Nigerian being diverse cultures and traditions, celebrate achievement and assertiveness, fostering confidence from a young age. Most of all these things only happen simply because the two primary things actually work, which is the sense of identity, strong sense of identity, and pride in our heritage. If there is no pride in your heritage and there's no sense in your identity, how can you be courageous? It is impossible for you to be courageous when there is no strong sense of identity. And this is one of the things that a lot of people have within their cultures that they do not take serious. And then when they see the Nigerian men, they begin to think that Nigerian men are supreme being, oh, they know how to take good care of women, but not understanding that they have actually demonized their men over and over again through their laws, through the family setting, through the society programming and the rest of it. And when you demonize what you have that is supposed to represent something. If you demonize what a man is supposed to represent, you're going to have what a lot of people have at the end of the day because you can't respect what you have destroyed. Well, according to your question, you say, how can I take pride in my identity, bro? I'm English and people would hate me. You see, that's one of the beautiful thing about life. And this is one thing you need to understand. I think it falls in two ways because in the Nigerian aspect, what happened is our parents, push us and tell us, hey, go, you are a son. You are going to be a protector and you are going to be a provider. This is your goal, and this is what you represent as our son. And the women are not intimidated by it. But if you ask yourself, how can I take pride in my in my identity? First thing you need to understand is, for you to be proud of yourself, you should understand that people are going to hate you initially when you start making certain decisions in your life. And the reality is this: it is basically because a lot of people care so much about what others say. That is the problem that we have in today's society. Like, there's nothing people say, it really does not get to me. And if you observe something, if you go towards my page, most of the things, videos I've made in the past, when it has to do with some of the videos I make with the Western people, or I talk about the Black Americans and the white Americans and all whatever I have to say, you observe one thing: that people do not really insult, people do not really abuse, people just, they just want to educate. But when I spoke about anything that has to do with Nigeria, regardless of my intelligence, regardless of my point of view, regardless of anything, you would realize one thing: that everyone begin to criticize me in Nigerian message. You can go back to some of the videos I make. You would see a lot of insults, you see a lot of abuse, you see a lot of things going on. But I understood those particular things, and I think every Nigerian, we are already used to stuff like that. Said Great Britain is the most hated country in the world historically. Maybe, maybe the world is going to put the blame on them. And the reason is basically because of the success or the name they actually have. The name they actually have. And that's exactly why the world will see it that way. So we have to get comfortable with being hated. And I think that is one of the things that is missing in Western, some of these Western cultures. Like, you try to please the women, or you try to be in the life of the women, and you try to succumb to the things that they want you to be. But in life, you have to know your ability. And if you know your ability and you see what you're competent at, you shouldn't be able to negotiate it for something else. Because look at it. If you tend to be a truck driver, for example, Korea had more slave trade than anyone else, and it lasted for roughly 1,500 years. Life is not fair, Rusty. Life is not fair. So just because they did it, and the world is not looking at them at the moment, doesn't mean. People talk about the Great Britain. So life is not fair. Sometimes, according to the law, it is not even you that committed the crime. You might just be found in the midst of the crime, and everyone is going to say you are the one who committed the crime. So let's say this thing: you have to be unapologetic for your competency in life. Put it in this way: when you go to get a job, or you want to get a job, as a truck driver, you know how much you should be paid. Or maybe you're a doctor, you know how much you should be paid. And now, when someone begins to tell you that they are not going to pay you that particular amount of money, what you have to do is you walk away. The problem is that in most Western cultures, they know how to bargain when it comes to finances and salaries, but they do not know how to bargain when it comes to the idea of relationship and their space in life, simply because they are trying to abide by the laws and they want to be loved by people. You see, the people we hate most times in life are those who actually care not to be hated. The people in life that we truly always love are those who don't care if we love them or we hate them. This has been one of the principles that has actually existed between man many years. And you will realize that it is the same people that we do not love. Those are the people we always find in the positions of power. For example, the current president of Nigeria, the only reason why he became the president of Nigeria, I know there are many factors to it. One of it is basically because a lot of Nigerians hated him so much. You hate him so much that you begin to sing his praises. You despise him so much that you begin to talk about him. And before you know, you have no reason to hate him and you just begin to love him because he doesn't care. The same thing happened with Donald Trump. You can see currently that some media houses are beginning to love Donald Trump. Why? There's nothing you throw at him. There's nothing you throw at him. He doesn't care. So same thing is applicable to this particular guy they call Andrew Tate. Are you familiar with Andrew Tate? If you're actually familiar with the guy called Andrew Tate, you would realize the same thing is actually applicable. The same thing is actually applicable. And so you have to have, for me, I think for you to really have a strong sense of identity, you have to know who you are as a person, and you need to understand that you are different from other people. So from hating someone to liking someone, these people must have the brain of a goat. How I see it is this: there are some forces in life that the world actually yields to you when you decide not to compromise. The world have a way it yields to you when you decide not to compromise. You have to say certain things that are okay, and then you should be comfortable to say things also that might not be okay. But at the same time, you understand that there's a repercussion of your statement. So I can say something right here, and I know some people are going to get pissed off. Whenever I'm making my live video, I know certain people are going to get pissed off. But that is exactly what I think. Like PDD eventually. You say, wait, so are we all going to like PDD eventually? No. This is what would happen. When you begin to talk about PDD, at the end of the day, you get tired of talking about PDD. And the next thing that people begin to say is, he was not the first person who did it. And then you begin to demonize his offense. Whatever he has done, you begin to see it like, this thing is over exaggerated. He will go to jail, and what did he do? He never killed. But except there is a law that goes after maybe the death of Tupac. If the death of Tupac is linked to him and all these confessions, law have to take its own place. What I'm actually saying is, most of these things, when I say things and I understand that people might feel offended by the words I say, I don't really care about what people say. I think that when they hear me say what I say, they would be upset. And if they're upset, some of them would like to insult. And I'm okay with them insulting. I am very fine with them insulting. You said you saw that list, LOL, they are all walking around with poop stains in their on this right now. I have no clue what you're talking about. Absolutely, I have no clue. What are you actually referring to? Ah, well, for some days now, I've actually not been paying attention to the PDD thing. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You didn't send it. You did not. I think people will get tired of it, and once people get tired of it, that becomes the end of it. But for PDD, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different because there's actually offense. He committed some crime. Oh, I would love you to. I would love you to send that to me again. I would love you to send that to me. I would love you to send that to me. You can send it on my WhatsApp. Okay. Okay. So we just have to be comfortable with life, knowing that when we make choices that are not comfortable by the society rules and regulation, people get upset. And when they get upset, it is okay for them to detest our choices in life. And that's also fine. As much as you understand, like, I'm not going after the rules and regulations that are being set by the culture or by the country. I'm just being myself within the perimeters of the rules of the country. The world kind of find a way where it's used to us. It's a bit blurry but readable. Are you talking about my video or the picture you sent? Okay, okay, okay. So one of those things is the strong sense of identity, and those are the primary thing. Now the list I just sent you. Okay, 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 okay. So probably by tomorrow, I'll be bringing up the full video. I'll be sending the whole full video when I debunk everything that has to do with why people are loving Nigerian men. And it's far beyond just strong sense of identity, pride, and culture. It talks about, I spoke about a lot. And I'll be sharing all those things with you, but they'll be on live. I think I'll be uploading it either this night or tomorrow morning. It should be available. But I just decided to come on live, just touch on the subject. And one of the primary thing is just the sense of, yeah, you just have to be blunt. Initially, when I say things, people are like, oh, why would you say whatever you have to say? And you would observe something about Nigerians, for example. Bluntness can be seen as confidence. Yeah. You see, you can be confident at the same time you can be humble. The problem is this: certain people think that when you are confident, you have to be rude. And that is the problem. You don't have to be confident and you have to be rude. You can be confident and you can be humble at the same time. I know what I'm saying. I know I'm right. I know my worth. I know the value of what I'm saying. But at the same time, even if you don't accept it, I'm just going to say it. And I understand. For me, before I say something, I actually understand the consequence of my action. And I know how people are going to respond to it. to not be so direct. Oh, Nigerian men are very direct. So when we see things we want to talk about, we are just so direct on whatever we think. And that's one of the problem. You see, women would not love men who are not direct, who does not show confidence. Almost all Western people would not even discuss what they want from a relationship. Yeah, I've seen it so many times. I've seen it so many times. There is a role that women have to play in relationship, and there's a role that men have to play in relationship. Now, in the idea of leadership, I do not think this is where I always have some issues when it comes to the Western cultures. Is that when most men talk about leadership, they think leadership is something that a woman have to submit themselves to them for them to become a leader. A woman does not have to submit herself to you for you to lead a relationship. You have to be a leader regardless of the submission of the woman or not. And when you are strong in your decisions, the woman will have no choice but to submit to the leadership. But when a woman sees that she can be in charge of a relationship and it's about 50-50 in a relationship, she wouldn't let you lead because she also understands that I can also exercise some of my power in this relationship. I have the same power as this man. But for we in Nigeria, we already put the idea of we are the king because we have been told that we are leaders since when we were little. We have been told that as a man, this is what we can do. We have been told as a man that we have to be strong, we have to be this, and we have to be that. And so we have heard it all our life. Just one woman coming into our life and telling us that she's going to change such a perception from us is going to be next to impossible. And this is the reason why you would realize that a lot of women in the African culture or in Nigeria that wants to subdue the man has to become diabolic. That means they have to go into fetish and diabolic things, put things into his food, call his glory, talk about things, and conjure with voodoo to make the man submissive. They have to use voodoo to make a man submissive in Nigeria. You can't just say it with your mouth because he already knows who he is. And when the voodoo clears from his eyes, it becomes worse. If you say he was bad before, he would now tend to be a very terrible person. Yeah, we wouldn't let a nation tell us. And here's one thing about Nigeria, for example. A man understands his value so much that when you tell him like um a woman wants to separate herself from the man and she tells the man that I am going to take the children out of your life. It is only in the Western culture that we see the man begin to plead with the woman and tell her, oh, don't take my children away from me. We want to have 50-50 custody. In African culture, in Nigeria, we don't do it. If a woman tells a man that I'm going to take the child away from you, the man will give the child to the woman. You want to have the responsibility 1,000,000%, because it is easier for a man to start afresh. The man will leave the child and says, okay, go. I know one thing in the mind of that child, that when that child gets to a particular level in life or age in life, he would ask himself, do I have a father? And based on family history and everything, he will find his father in the nearest future. And I'll be there. Highest level of mental health on the planet. Yeah. because we don't struggle. There are things you can't fight. Because look at it. If I want to be in the life of my child, it is a benefit to the child and to the woman. And if a woman is deciding to take the child away from me, yeah. And if a woman is trying to take my children away from me, I'm gladly going to give the woman, knowing fully well that that child is going to find me some days. Though we have the aspect of the families who will come in and they try to make the father come into the life of the children and the rest of it, but most likely most men, we don't really we don't really care, not because we don't want to be responsible, but because if you decide you want to take the burden on yourself, take the burden on yourself. And I think that some of the things is that our women also encourage us in Africa. Our women kind of encourage us, and you can rarely come online and where you hear women going like, "I want to divorce my husband." The highest thing you hear in African relationship is, "I want to separate. I want to divorce the man. I'm not going after his money, or he has to pay alimony and he has to pay this and he has to pay that." So I think that it is the union between the man and the woman. It is the union between the man and the woman that kind of helps. Rusty says, "Inject my butt with tranquilizer, put me in a padded room, and leave me alone to live." Yeah. So I think in the video I'm going to upload, it's going to analyze and touch on most of this subject, on everything that helps the African men to be what they are, the Nigerian men specifically, and why a lot of women are going after Nigerian men. And here's what I actually say at the end of the video is that your men can also be the same thing. If you give your men the room to improve themselves and to be who they are, they can be like Nigerian men, if not better than Nigerian men. So if you subdue your men and you are running after the Nigerian men, it is a failure of the society from your side. It's a rather pleasant experience if you don't fight it. I think you are referring to the tranquilizer stuff. So later today, I would go through and check that video, and most likely maybe by tomorrow I'm also going to make a comment on the video. So with that being said, we've spent about 1 hour 3 minutes a few years ago. Wow. And what was the reason behind it? What was the reason behind it? Ah, wow. That's amazing. No, so and that's just the problem. It is possible for these things to happen. Discovering your identity and having a strong sense of your identity. Because at the end of the day, everything that makes us human in the third dimension is based off what we can identify ourselves as and what is our conviction on who we are as people. So we'll be rounding up for today. Thank you very much, Rusty, for joining. I understand today is Wednesday. People don't join. I'm supposed to be on live tomorrow and shift the conversation, but I will do a continuation of the subject after I upload the video. I was just looking for any way out so as to be what we call sanction. Yeah. So hopefully by tomorrow and Thursday, Thursday, tomorrow is Thursday. So let's just say Saturday we are going to be having a guest because the reason why we could not have live video, I was supposed to have it last week, but we had some kind of issues. And this week, definitely, by God's grace, if my guest is available, we'll be having live show. One of these days, hopefully, Rusty, you are going to join us live too. I know you keep running from showing up on live, but one of these days, maybe a time is going to come. Yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, you have to find a reason to live, also for yourself. You have to find a reason to live for yourself. This is also important. Yes, because for the children it's good because at the end of the day, sometimes when we see our children and they are doing fine in life, and sometimes we are just like, okay, what is life for? As much as my children are doing okay. So sometimes you have to find a reason to build around yourself. As an introvert, I don't like even seeing myself. ah, but I'm a strong introvert also. I'm a real strong introvert. But I think the YouTube space have kind of make me come out a little bit. Yeah. Okay. It's a good thing having you join me today. Um I will upload the video tomorrow and probably by tomorrow also 8 p.m. African time. We're gonna be having a live show. Thank you for joining me today. Hope to talk to you later. We're always going to be having conversations because we can have it on live, uh, maybe on WhatsApp after this. All right. My regard. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Adios. Bye bye. Amigos. Thanks, Rusty. So I'll be adding I am of creator. I'll be adding him also. So talk to you guys later. Bye. To WhatsApp you. Okay. No problem. No problem. No problem. Just do that. All right. All right. All right. Have a great night. Regards to everyone. Bye bye for now. Adios, amigos.